Democracy depends on a free press. Please support our independent journalism at democracynow.org/give. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Newark Mayor Ras Baraka, the mayor of the largest city in New Jersey, was arrested Friday and detained by masked federal immigration police when he went to a newly reopened private 1,000-bed Immigration and Customs Enforcement jail called Delaney Hall. He says he was there to support 3 Congress members set to tour the facility: Bonnie Watson-Coleman, LaMonica McIver, and Rob Menendez. Newark Mayor Baraka says he was asked to leave the premises and did so. He'd gone to the other side of the fence, the Newark public property side, away from the Congress members, was on a public street when he was seized by officers in a chaotic scene.
Now, circle the mayor! Circle the mayor!
What the hell?
Circle the mayor! Circle the mayor! Circle the mayor!
What the heck?
Absolutely
Back up. Do not cause this problem.
Congresswoman, she's right in front of you.
Don't touch her! Don't touch her!
Get off the bus!
Don't touch
Get off the
her!
bus!
As the ICE agents handcuffed Mayor Baraka, the 3 Democratic Congress members, Menendez, McIver, and Coleman, tried to wrap their arms around him to protect him. After he was arrested, a crowd of hundreds gathered demanding he be released. He was charged with trespassing and later released and addressed supporters.
I didn't know that this morning when I woke up that I'll be in this detention facility here, that I would end up incarcerated for something that I believe is my democratic right to show up and speak out against what I think was happening there, a violation of city and state laws and a lack of transparency.
Meanwhile, a Department of Homeland Security spokesperson accused the New Jersey Congress members at the scene of assaulting ICE officers, warned they still may face arrest. We'll speak with 80-year-old Congressmember Bonnie Watson-Coleman in a few minutes. But we begin with Newark Mayor, gubernatorial candidate Ras Baraka. Welcome to Democracy Now! I'm glad I'm not speaking to you behind bars, but where you are in Newark, Mayor. If you can start off by talking about why you were there outside Delaney Hall, what this place is, and what happened.
Well, I actually go there every day, every morning. I would have been there this morning. I go at 7 a.m. with fire code officials, UCC officials, health inspectors to get in, as it is our right to inspect the facility, for them to apply for a certificate of occupancy. We're in court with GEO right now because they're defying city ordinances. I went back that afternoon because I was invited to participate in the press conference that the Congress people were going to have after they toured the facility themselves. I went there for that purpose. We waited there over an hour, almost an hour and a half, with no incident, without any incident whatsoever. I was allowed to come inside and stand there by the gate without incident for over an hour, waiting for the Congress people to come out. When the special agent in charge, Patel, showed up, he escalated the situation. There, the Congress people tried to reason with him, surrounded me inside and finally got him to agree for me to leave. I left. On the other side of the fence, I guess they reversed that decision and made a decision to come around and, in fact, arrest me. And so they did. They arrested me, and the Congress people and other bystanders tried to shield me from being arrested. But, I did. And I think it was better that happened, because it would have probably gotten worse than it was getting while I was out there.
Now, we heard that, well, you went to the Newark side, and you represent Newark. You were on the public property side. Someone got a call next to you, right? One of the officials got a call. Now,
right.
Let's be clear. The U.S. Attorney for New Jersey there is Alina Habba, the former private lawyer for President Trump. If you can explain what you understand took place, because that seemed to escalate things when that agent was on the phone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You could see that it was resolved, that I was leaving. I left. I was on the other side. When he got the call, I was already on the other side of the fence. He, in turn, got a phone call. Right after the phone call, they proceeded to come after me. When they first came, they came right up to me anyway. And this idea that other people got arrested is not true. I was the only one arrested there. And so they targeted me specifically. Right. So that after the phone call, it did escalate.
So the interim U.S. attorney, Alina Habba, said on X that you, quote, ignored multiple warnings from Homeland Security investigations to remove, well, she said, to remove himself, unquote, from the detention center, again, which, as you pointed out, is run by the GEO Group. She added, quote, no one is above the law. Please respond, Mayor.
Yeah, she's right. No one is above the law. Neither are they. Neither is the GEO Group is not above the law. The president or any of these people. Well, we have a dispute with GEO because they're violating city laws, and we are fighting with them in court. And ICE is interfering and interceding in that, unfortunately, without the judges, whatever the judge says, they are doing the opposite of that. I sat on that. Sat inside of that fence there for over an hour, and nobody told me to move. Nobody told me to get out. Nobody questioned me. Nobody came up to me and said anything to me. I sat there for a very long time before that agent showed up there. And so it was clearly their intention to escalate it and to focus everything on me and to target me. And that's exactly what happened.
Now, I wanted to clarify something, Mayor Baraka. A lot of the news reported that you were arrested during a protest.
Right.
But in fact, you weren't protesting. Can you explain the history of this GEO facility, which wasn't always owned by GEO, and why you say they don't have the proper documentation to hold 1,000 prisoners?
Right. Yeah, I was not protesting, actually, and I could be protesting. I speak to the protesters when I get there. But at the end of the day, the GEO Group, the facility used to be a drug rehab center and a halfway house for people that were incarcerated that were coming home, and this was a transition from there to come home. So very short periods of time that they spent there to transition home. They converted it. Or in the process of trying to convert it into this kind of detention facility, over 1,000 beds in a detention facility. They had a certificate of occupancy 20 years ago, and according to city ordinance, they need an updated certificate of occupancy. In fact, we need annual updates of certificates of occupancy, not 20 years later. We challenged them on that. Our folks showed up before I even came there. We sent our people there, refused to let them in. So I needed to see that for myself. I came down there with our folks and watched them turn them away and turn me away at the same time. We went to court summarily after that. The courts had us in conversation, forced them to make them have an initial inspection. We did an initial inspection and found a few violations. After we find violations, we have to come back and check those violations. And we told them that they needed to apply for a certificate of occupancy. They refused to do that. So this is a dispute that has to be settled in court. Not by Alina Habba, not by the ICE or by the president, but by a court. A court settles these disputes, and it has not settled it yet. We're still in court now.
The detention facility, the largest on the East Coast, 1,000 beds, is near Newark Airport. I mean, maybe the only hope for the detainees is that there have been so many outages at Newark that they wouldn't be able to fly them out. But I wanted to ask you about the history. In 2021, advocates helped enact a law prohibiting New Jersey from renewing or signing detention contracts with ICE in New Jersey. Now, a federal district judge struck down parts of that in 2023 after private prison operators like Core Civic, which operates another immigration jail in the state, sued. The state attorney general is appealing the ruling, invoking the 10th Amendment that stops the federal government from commandeering state resources for its purposes. That is, I'm reading from the Washington Post. Can you respond to what you still are asking for? In a moment, we're going to speak with one of the Congress members who are still threatened with arrest, who did tour the facility. But what you're demanding ICE give you now in terms of documentation, what you're concerned about is happening to the detainees inside.
Well, we want them to start filling out the application for the certificate of occupancy. That allows us to come in and do full inspections, health inspection, fire inspection, make sure they have the proper procedures that are happening there. If women are there, if children are there, we need to know how many people are in there, how many beds that they have there, if the sprinkler system works, if the gas system is hooked up correctly, the electrical system is hooked up, if the elevators are working properly. All of these things are a part of what a certificate of occupancy allows us to do. If they're using the property for the stated use, or if they're using it for anything else, do they need to go through the zoning board or planning board? And this is what happens for every facility, even a new home that you build and open. Everybody has to have a CO or temporary certificate of occupancy, and they have neither. And so we're in dispute about this. I do think that the state should go further here and demand or write a law that says that we can't have private prisons in New Jersey in the first place. I think we should go as far as that in this state.
I know you have to go, but I want to just get you to respond to a very ominous moment right before you were arrested. It was on Friday, with the White House official Stephen Miller saying he's looking into, that the Trump administration is looking into suspending habeas corpus, which protects people from unlawful detentions. This is what he said.
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration and Nationality Act, which stripped Article 3 courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. So Congress actually passed, it's called jurisdiction stripping legislation. It passed a number of laws that say that the Article 3 courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases.
So if you finally can respond just hours before you were arrested to Stephen Miller saying they're weighing stripping habeas corpus, they're weighing doing away with it because while it may not be wartime, we're in the midst of an invasion.
This is completely insane, and it's a scary moment in the history of this country as we watch democracy slip between our fingers. I think that because Trump was elected and there's still a process, we still have this separation of powers, that people believe that the separation of powers is going to fix this. This is not being fixed. People are watching this take place as authoritarianism becomes the rule of the land here in this country, and we need more voices and more people to stand up against this. Suspending habeas corpus is something that happens in a time of war. To relate this to war is definitely scary. It means that we're in an existential threat here, and we need to stand up and do something about this immediately.
When do you have to go to court?
May 15th, go back to court for my preliminary hearing, in the city of Newark, and hopefully the supporters will be out there supporting me.
Soon afterwards, there's the primary for governor. Is that right? June 10th?
Yes, June 10th, absolutely. Yeah.
Ras Baraka, I want to thank you for being with us, Mayor of Newark, New Jersey. Democracy Now! Is funded by viewers like you. Please give today at democracynow.org/give.